Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by Mike Sparks, the head football coach at Charlotte High School. How's it going?
Great, Casey. Thanks for having me on.
Well, let's talk about how this summer's been going for you guys, and just overall, what have you kind of seen? What have you done so far, and getting ready for the upcoming year?
Yeah, so we're really excited any chance we get to talk about the work that we put in the dark. That's kind of been our motto. Kids have been hard at work since the conclusion of last season. Kind of a bittersweet end for us last year. We got an opportunity to redeem ourselves against a really good Hastings football team, and took a lead in midway through the third quarter, and then ended up finally falling off by 23-13 score. So we had a lot of underclassmen that contributed to that team's success last year. And so those kids are really motivated to try to really put a stamp on this coming 23 season. So they've been in the room. They've hit the weight room and been pretty good at it. We've probably had 20-25 kids pretty solid all throughout the off season, lifting 4 days a week, doing our speed and agility training, and then stumbled upon some really good team camps and 7-on-7 along the way. So we're anxious and ready to go. I mean, it's that time.
Yeah, it is. It is going to be that time. It all starts in a few days. We're about 4 days away, right, from time of recording, which is Wednesday night. So yeah, it's going to come at you fast on Monday, so it'll be fun. So let's before we get into the schedule and all that, let's talk about some of the kids, returning for you guys and some of the kids to watch for your team this year.
Yeah, I mean, we're really blessed. Like I said, we had a good number of kids that contributed to last year's success. Our starting quarterback, Ben Buzzard, is, kind of one of those question mark kids on where he's going to end up. He was our starting quarterback and just a tremendous athlete for us at that position. Started our season off undefeated last year, and then he suffered an injury in the Ionia game, and so it was a broken collarbone. So we worked really hard to get his replacement ready to go, and it ended up being our JV quarterback, Christian Powers. And he just kind of picked up the reins. His first start was against a Portland team, his first varsity experience against a real good playoff caliber team. And, we faltered a little bit out of the gate and maybe didn't support him as well as we would have liked to. And so he suffered a loss, but led us as a starting quarterback every week afterwards until the eventual loss in the playoffs against Hastings. So both those guys are coming back for us. We're trying to figure out a way to play them both and get them some great experience. They got a lot of weapons to choose from. We've got a senior tight end, Carson Burkumpus, who probably only had 10 or 12 or 15 balls caught, but a couple of touchdowns, and he's a real dynamic player. He does a lot for us on the defensive side of the ball as well. Probably our leading defensive player all around. And then, we graduated top end talent. Braden Hill ended up he's going to play slot at Saginaw Valley on a scholarship. But Cutler Brandt is a guy that we bring back who was really phenomenal. And so he's really dedicated himself to being the next great thing that we've got going. So he's a guy that will feature in a variety of different roles and lines up for us on defense as well. He's just a tenacious kid that we can't get off the field. So with those guys leading it in the skills area, we're pretty excited. And probably more importantly than anything else, we bring back, 3 starters in that offensive line of ours. And, we're really a run oriented offense, and, one senior, Matt Hulsebus, who's probably one of the toughest kids that we have. Matt broke his wrist in one game and was back playing the next game. He just had to miss a couple practices to get casted up. We had to move him from center to guard, but couldn't snap the ball. And then we got a couple of all-purpose guys, Van Reed and Reed Blasius, that are going to play guard and tackle or tackle and tackle. We'll see how camp fares, but a couple of guys that can play at different spots for us up front. So really excited about the prospects.
Yeah. Let's talk about defense for a second. Where are we at on that?
Yeah, so we'll bring back a good number of starters, especially up front. We've got a couple of big old guys that we'll get a few more run stop downs out of in Jared Brown and Jaden Kill, big heavy set run stop guys that'll help us. We lost our leading tackler at the middle level. who actually was surpassed by Cutler Brandt, who was our free safety. So, Cutler's a kid that plays free safety, but led our team in total tackles. In fact, it has a school record for total tackles in the season. He's all over the place. So, people are going to have to count him, in the box, or he's going to create some problems for folks. So, we got another young man, Tyler Beidelman, who was an all-conference defensive end for us. This kid is he's built really well. It's his second year in our system. He ended up coming on over from another district, and he projects to be, a real force for us in both the run game and, getting after the quarterback. So we're excited to bring back a young junior linebacker by the name of Tim Bensinger, who hopefully is going to, fill the void for us. Played the last 5 games of last season and did well. And so we're going to put a lot on him. So, and then, some of those same skilled guys will double up. We got some newcomers, young guy by the name of Caden Holmes and another one by Carter Moore, who'll play kind of our hybrid spin down positions for us. So, and help solidify some things on the back end. And, we're pretty excited. I think we got a sophomore that's competing to maybe lock down one of our starting cornerback spots. So, yeah, we feel really good.
Yeah. So of course, before we get to the schedule, let's I know the CAAC White has gone through some changes, some new members coming in, of course, with Lakewood and Olivet. So I know from talking with Jim Baker, the head coach at Lansing Catholic, who was just on here today, kind of talking about just, 2 new teams and, less teams you have to go out and find opponents for.
Yeah, and fortunately for us in my time here at Charlotte, we've played both of them, right? So Olivet was our opening ball game the last 2 or 3 years for them to come into the conference, and then Lakewood we had penciled in a week 8 spot for a couple of years, and I think we ended up splitting with them. So they're the top 2 teams in that former conference, that GLAC conference, and we have our hands full with them. I think we're 2-1 against Olivet. Probably about the same against Lakewood. So we're excited to see how they come in, because, this CAAC White was no joke before we got 2 more quality opponents. And, I can't say enough about it. I think it's probably as good as it's ever been. Ionia is with Travis Tucker, that kid, he's a game breaker. Lansing Catholic had a great season, but I know they're not happy. I know Jim's not happy about the way they finished in the conference. They were breaking in a new starter at quarterback, and then of course Portland is off the charts this year, as they are most years. And don't go to sleep on Sexton, because I know John L. Davis is doing a great job over there, and they've got some guys, and they'll fly around and get you. So I think that it's as good a conference in mid-Michigan right now is the White. I know everybody gave praises to the Blue last year, but we're going to be right with them.
Yeah, the Blue is going to be good. The Red's going to be good as well.
Right.
You look at Mason and Hazlitt, and who knows if Williamston could come up there, and then you possibly could have some teams. I know Fowlerville has a new coach this year, so we could see them, and who knows, maybe St. John's makes a run. So
yeah, absolutely,
it should be a fun one there. But of course, let's start. And of course, I just mentioned some of those opponents. We start off at home on the 24th against 3 Rivers. That's where Charlotte starts off the season. Then they're on the road August 31st at Lake Odessa Lakewood. I'll just run through the schedule really quick. Yep. September 8th, home against Lansing Catholic. September 15th at Lansing Sexton. September 22nd, home against Ionia. September 29th, home against Olivet. October 6th at Portland. October 13th, home against Eaton Rapids. And then you'll finish out the year October 20th at Fowlerville. So a pretty good schedule, tough schedule as we just talked about. But, a lot of teams really kind of know from talking with a lot of coaches from around the state. Really, I think just what do you want to see out of these next few weeks from your guys?
Yeah, so I mean, we're about trying to get back to fundamentals. Our model's been discipline over everything. We feel like when we were disciplined, we could play with just about anybody, and it's us against us, right? If we get too high on an opponent or don't give an opponent enough respect, I think it's more based on how we perform, and so that's really the focus that we try to take. because we know we're going to have to play every week. I mean, you got a winless Eaton Rapids team that's on that schedule, but I'm telling you what, that's a rivalry game for us, right? And so Lord knows anything can happen in those competitions. And so we just try to be the best version of ourselves every single day, and really get after what it is that we're trying to do. We want to run the football and play great defense, and we figure that's a formula that if we can get it going right here, on Monday, right out of the gate, and start practicing what we've been preaching all off season, that we'll be ready, and we'll try to be 1-0 every week, right? We got a brand new Three Rivers team to start the season with, historically very strong team. They had kind of a down season, I guess, last year. I think they were 6-4, but they'll have a new coach. And we've seen a little bit of film on them, and we know they've got a legitimate guy back there playing quarterback for them, who can throw the ball around and pull it down and run. And so anytime you see that dual threat kid, you better do your homework and get ready to play football. So yeah, we're excited about the opportunity to just get out there and give ourselves an opportunity to be 1-0 each week.
Yeah, for sure. And one more thing, how are you I know a lot of talking with a lot of coaches from around the state about how they approach this week. What have you kind of done this week? Is it kind of a dead period week? Are you guys conditioning, or how are you treating this week?
Yeah, so we did a mix. It was awkward this year that the quiet period started on a Tuesday, right? And so in years past, it would always start on that Monday. And so we would just have our seniors lead a conditioning workout, then our juniors and our sophomores, and occasionally we'd let the freshmen do it. So we followed a similar pattern this year. We had our weightlifting and conditioning on Monday, and then but we haven't done any football stuff. We figure if we've got to cram in a bunch of stuff here in this quiet period, then we probably haven't done the work we needed to do in the off season, and that's not the case. We really feel like we've had a great summer. Our kids are in pretty good shape. We'll have to spend a little bit of time conditioning, but mostly we won't hit the ground running on the 7th. So
all right. Mike Sparks, the head football coach at Charlotte. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck to the Orioles this coming season.
Great. Thanks a lot, Casey. Appreciate you having on.